Welcome to the State of Streaming here at the end of April in 2022. It's another month. They just keep cranking them out. People tell me, Chris, this is how time works. It keeps moving forward and it's going to continue to do so. Has this not been your experience so far? I say, yes, but we'll keep track of it. We'll keep seeing what's happening. Maybe we'll go back. Maybe it'll just stop. Who knows? We'll find out. And I'll tell you where you'll find out right here. If it's to do with streaming. Anyway, let's get into it. Do you remember those paid boosts that appeared like at the tail end of last month and like into April? And you remember how they just disappeared and like nobody really seemed to like them anyway? So maybe that was why. But no, it turns out it's because of porn. Because of course it was. Because this is the internet. You may have seen there was a boosted streams feature. So members of a community could pay to boost the stream so it would appear on the front page for some people as a recommended stream. You probably saw it like promoted, boosted, like kind of thing right there in the 4 areas of recommended streams for you that they have on the front page of Twitch once you've logged in. Then it vanished, and it was because people were streaming porn and then boosting it up so it would appear on the front. Why? Because it's the internet and everyone's, I don't know, an idiot? I don't know. Don't know why they're doing that. But this is what happened. The Verge reached out to Twitch and they said in a statement, Twitch has decided to pause the boost train due to some safety considerations that came up through the experiment. They later added that Twitch will share additional updates with the community around new features to help improve discoverability as available. So yeah, obviously you can't stream porn on Twitch. I mean, if you can't even show cleavage on Twitch, you certainly cannot be streaming porn. So, you know, that wasn't going to work out. But, I mean, it was an idea for discoverability. It was a bit of an odd one in that you could pay them for discoverability, but I mean, you got to make money somehow, I guess. So there you go. That's one. If they can fix discoverability, I've been saying this ever since we started doing State of Streaming here on this channel, and I've been saying it for years. Discoverability, if anyone can crack that, that is the next big thing that's going to change something in streaming. If they can work out how you can get more people watching you, which is beneficial for the streaming platform for more ad revenue, and you know, they get a cut of your subscriptions, they get a cut of anyone buys bits, you know, all that stuff. If they can figure out how to get more people watching you, that works well for everyone. So that's the next nut to crack. So I'm hoping whatever Twitch comes up with next, they figure something out, but it wasn't this. Turns out. So anyway, we're going to move over to Lewis, who's got a couple of stories for us from this month. Lewis, give it to me.
All right, so if you're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you're probably wondering why everyone was dressing the same over the weekend, or at least 2 weekends in a row. And that's because it was finally the return of Coachella. If you don't know what Coachella is one of the biggest music festivals in the world. It started in Indio, California. It's actually still there now, but it's expanded from 1 weekend to 2. And while it used to be kind of a art and music festival that hosts a lot of indie artists, it's now hosted a lot of mainstream artists now. And it's kind of like the main pit stop if you're the big artist of the year. But why is this in State of Streaming? Well, it's in State of Streaming because I think from the get-go, Coachella has really been the standard in live stream music production, that is production of performances. Now, it's not just, you know, high quality broadcasting of shows. It's almost cinematic in how it's become with the live stream. Like, you can definitely tell this year they took the time to work with the artists and figure out, you know, what parts they need to highlight, what angles to do. There were some performances where it looked like it was a movie. It looked like it was one of those documentary movies that you see from concert films. Now, there was a whole host of different artists, and the crazy thing is that there's so many stages at Coachella, and this is a 3-day stream, and you're getting artists from every stream. It used to be you would only get some artists. Now you get probably the biggest acts that everyone wants to see. It appears on the stream. It's become a great promotional tool for the show. The chat is absolutely insane. Fortunately, you don't get to see the viewership numbers. I'm sure they're promoted somewhere after the show, but I think that this is one of the biggest things that happens on YouTube. Although shockingly, Whereas YouTube used to let Coachella be kind of like a takeover of the YouTube page, and it used to have these crazy landing pages, they've kept it very straightforward, very basic. Just leave the chat, watch the stream, have fun. And thankfully the DVR feature's on, so you can catch the acts that you might have missed. Like for me, in my time zone, all the performances happen in the morning, but they do a replay so you can catch it during the evening. It's a really great stream. Let me know if you checked out Coachella, what artists were cool, performances you liked, and if you watch any other music streams or any other big music broadcasts. All right, so one thing that I've noticed over the past couple months is that IRL streamers have started to go outside again, have started to go to different countries, meet up with each other, have things going on, not being locked in the room, watching videos like I do. So Jake and Big actually went to Asia again, did not go back to Japan, went to Singapore and Thailand. Andy Milanakis is out in Italy with a bunch of people, just having fun. So I've seen some streams over the year kind of pop up. People have been going to Europe, which was one of the first areas to relax some restrictions. But now that more countries are letting you enter without having to quarantine for long periods of time, or simplifying testing or entry requirements, it'll be interesting to see IRL streamers go out, but also go back with their crazy production values. But let me know if there's been any streams that you've been watching, or who you're hoping kind of goes out and what areas they want to visit again, so we can live vicariously through streamers. But that's it for my parts. Back over to Chris.
Thank you, Lou. Now we have one more bit of news for you. Elgato have a new capture card out. It is the HD60X. It can do 4K 30 frames per second, and it can do variable refresh rates. Variable refresh rates, if you don't know, is something supported on the Xbox Series X. It's just been released as an update on the PS5 firmware, so you can do it on that. A lot of like PCs and stuff can do it with like the right capture cards. It can help with screen tearing and things like that, so it's a good thing to have. We now have a capture card that supports it, and I like, before we get into some of the tech specs, I like that the inputs are all on the front or back, depending how you set it up. So, you know, ordinarily you got your capture card and it looks like a snake that's eating a capture card going across your desk, or at least that's how mine does, because the input and the output go in on the front and the back. I almost went cross-eyed there. The input and the output go in the front and the back. But these are all in the same place, which is nice just for cabling. Like if you've got set up like me, where you've got like a capture card just permanently there, ready to swap a console in and out for when you're doing streaming, it'd be nicer if some of the cable management could be a little bit better. Not that I'm great at cable management, but I do like the idea of not having to do that. I can just kind of put it in one place and the cables will just sit happily going either way. That works for me. But let's take a look at some of these resolutions this thing can do. So as I said, it can do 4K 30 frames per second in HDR, something supported in XSplit Broadcaster. 1440p 60 frames per second in SDR, or 1080p 60 frames per second HDR. And it can pass through up to 4K 60 frames per second HDR. It can pass through 240 frames per second 1080p. So it can pass through quite a lot, but it's possible to capture up to 120 frames per second in 1080p. That scales down from 1080p 240 frames per second footage in the capture card. So you can be if you can stream at that resolution, there you go. You've got it. You have it. You're ready to go. It's good to see the capture cards getting updates that are in line with all the stuff that's coming in on the new consoles that have been out for a while now. If you can get them, it's still difficult to get them, but if you can get them, you can now start streaming to it. Stuff like encoding is going to be the interesting stuff. That's going to be the hardware encoding. There's some interesting stuff coming from Intel. Something XSplit here we just announced recently, working with Intel. Interesting stuff happening. That's going to mean streaming starts to look better. These capture cards being a part of that is a big thing. But that is the state of streaming for this month. What do you think of all the stuff you've heard? What are you looking for when it comes to capture cards, or for discoverability, or for any of the stuff we discussed today? Let us know in the comments below. As ever, do give the channel a subscription, because we got 2 videos coming out every week, and it's stuff to do with streaming, it's stuff to do with productivity. It's all stuff that's here to inform and help you out. So do stick around here on the channel, give the video a like if you have enjoyed it, because that just helps the algorithm tell other people that they might enjoy it as well. For now though, thank you for being here. I'll see you probably in the next state of streaming. Let's see if time keeps moving on the way we predicted. We're gonna find out together. You and I. If there's 2 of you in the room watching this, both of you and I. If there's a whole room of you watching this, I mean, I'm glad this is an event for you. Thank you very much. Let me know in the comments if there's a bunch of you like this is an event. Get the family round. It's stay streaming. Come on, kids. Sit down. Let old Uncle Chris tell you about streaming. See you soon.